Hello students, how are you all today? So, today in this session, we are going to have a discussion on the numericals of macroeconomics, how you should approach towards a particular question. That we are going to focus in this particular session, and along with that, I'm also going to give you some of the tips that how to think once you see a numerical questions and in order to curb the time that you generally require in an exam hall. So watch it till the end because the tips you're going to get it after we are done with this session. Keep watching. So starting with a very easy question from the islm, and the question you can see it's written on the board. The question says, I'm going to read it out for you. The question has given us C stands for the consumption function. So the equation of consumption function has been provided to us, that is 220 plus 0.63y. I stands for the investment, and that is equal to 1000 minus 200 and 200 R. NX implies net exports, and that is 525 minus 0.1y minus 500 R. And here we have finally the equation for the money demand, that is 0.1583y minus 1000 R whole into P. And here they have given us some extra information that what are the endogenous and exogenous variables. The endogenous variables, obviously we know it well, that the variables that we are gonna obtain from the system. So those are the endogenous variable, and the value that are provided outside the system, that is here the money supply and the government expenditure, these are the exogenous variables. So what's the first question that they are asking us to find? It's saying to find us the equation for the Iist and LM curve. So for this type of questions, we need to know the basic theories of the islm, that what are the basic equational format for the Iist and for the LM curve. Once we know that, it's very easy to proceed from this way. So let's begin. I'm going to start with the Iist curve equation. So Iist curve equations, we know it is y equal to C plus I plus G plus Nx. I'm going to write C bar because since G is the value that has been provided to us exogenously to the system. Now, how to proceed? We just have to substitute the values of C, I and Nx from the given information. And once we substitute them, after some simplification, we have the required answer. So let's see that. Now, C, what's the value of C? It's 220 plus 0.63y. What's the value of I? I is given, that is 1000 minus 200 R, and we have G bar. So let's just write it as G bar, and the value of Nx, that is this one. Let's substitute that. So it is 525 minus 0.y minus 0.1y and minus of 500 R. I hope you can see that. At the end, I'm just writing 500 R. That's the term which is given over here. Okay, so this is the final equation. Now the final equation. So this is the equation of the Iist curve. All we have to do is from here is to simplify it. And once we are done with that, we have the Iist curve equations. So after simplifying the equations, the thing that we are getting is this. That is y equal to 0.53y minus 2500 R plus 1745 plus of G bar. So this is the whole equation of the Iist curve. Let me mark it as equation 1. You can also do it in your copies and let us know whether you have got this form of equation or not. So this is the equation of the Iist curve. Well, our question doesn't end here. It also required to find the equation of the LM curve. So let's find the equation of it. The equation of LM curve Basically, LM curve gives us the relation between the output and the rate of interest, but in the money market. The Iist curve gives us the relation between output and interest rate for the goods market or for the commodity market. But in the LM curve, it gives us the relation from the in the money market. So that is why, as we talk about the money market, so money market equilibrium is very much important in order to receive the LM curve equation. So the equation for the LM curve needs the relationship, needs the equality between the money's real supply of money and the real demand for money. That is, the LM curve says that real money supply has to be equal to the real money demand. Once we establish the relation with this format, in this format, then we have this LM curve equation. And from the given information, here we have the required information, the part of information that we need in order to find the LM curve. That is, they have provided us the demand, money demand is equal to this particular value. So all we have to do is to simplify it here again. So after just substituting the value, I can write this, and this is equal to M by P. That means the real money supply. So this is the required equation of the LM curve that has been asked in the question. Okay, so let me mark it as part equation 2. So with this, the part 1 question, we have successfully solved it. Let's move to the second part of the same question. So with this, we are here with the second part of the question. So let's see what the second part is asking us to find. It says to solve the value for the Y in the islm framework. That means, so Y here stands for the national income or the national output. Now this national output or income can be obtained by the intersection of the Iist and LM curve together, right? Because the Iist is covering the commodity market and LM is covering the money market. So with the intersection and the clearance in both the markets, we can say that that particular value is our national output or income. Let's see with the help of a diagram that will help to clear your concept a bit. So here we are measuring the output, national output or income, national income, and here we are measuring the rate of interest, right? Now LM curve slopes upward and the Iist curve slopes downward. Now the intersection of this Iist naught and LM naught curve, at this particular point we have Y star and here let's say R star. Okay, so we need to find the value of this value of Y. So let's proceed. And from the theory we can easily say that this Y is obtained by the intersection. That means in order to find the value of Y, we need to equate the two equations, that is the Iist and LM curve. And for that I have written the two equations here only, the same equation that we have obtained in the first part. I have marked it as equation number 1 and equation number 2. To proceed, I am going to start with the LM equation and try to simplify a bit. That is, from here we have the equation as this one. What I am doing is writing in this format. So minus of ms by p. Let me mark it as equation number 2 prime. Okay, so here I have done nothing. I have simplified it by keeping r on one side and y on the other, because ultimately we need to do it in this fashion. Until and unless we write the equations and simplify it in this fashion, it will be very much it will be a bit difficult once we have a very big values. Okay, so we have simplified the LM equation. Now let's move towards the Iist equation. what I'm going to do is substitute the value of r from equation 2 prime to 1 and let's see what we can obtain. So substituting 2 prime in 1. Okay, let's see what we are going to obtain is here 53 y equal to 0.53y minus of 2.5 whole into this value, the value of r. What I have just done is that here we have 2500. I have divided this particular value with 1000. Why? Because equation 2 prime provides us the value of 1000 r. So it's just a simple simplification. And we have this value. Let's write it. ms by p. So we have converted till this much and this portion is left. Let's just let's write it as it is and g bar. Okay, so this is the value of 1 after substituting it with 2 prime. Let's mark it equation 1 prime. Okay, now from this 1 prime, if we can just solve and simplify it a bit, then we are having the value of y. Let's do it. Okay, from this equation I'm writing upside. Kindly follow. So here we have this and we have 83 into y and this side is 2.5 ms by p 1745 plus of g bar, right? So this is the value, and after substituting this equation we have this value, that is 0.86575 y equal to 1745 plus g bar plus 2.5 ms by p. And now in order to find the value of this y, what we can do is 1745 plus of g bar, and here we have 2.5 ms by p, and this whole thing is divided by this value, that is 0.86575, and mark it as equation number 3. So once we have the value of this g bar, ms, p from outside, we are good to go with the numerical value of the national output or national income. So this is how we need to solve the particular equations or numericals from the macro segment, especially that we have discussed with respect to the islm framework. Now we are going to solve another equation from the SKM. Let's do that. Okay, so here we are with the second question. I have written the gist of the question. I'm going to give you the whole description verbally. Try to listen it very carefully. Okay, so here the question says that in this economy there are two groups of people, group A and group B, let's say. So income of the both groups they have provided us, that is 800 and y minus 800. The groups, the income of the two groups respectively. And they have also provided us with APC. APC stands for the average propensity to consume, and that is 0.6 and 0.5 respectively for the two groups. Then they have provided us with the investment function, and the investment function says that it is equal to investment, that is I equal to 400 plus of 0.1 y. And what is the thing that they have asked us to find is to derive the aggregate saving equation. So we have to find the aggregate saving function. Okay, so aggregate saving function, why they have used the word aggregate? Why this aggregate saving function is there? This point you need to think and ponder on, that why the aggregate word has been applied, has been used in this following question. Since we are dealing with the two types of groups, of people, that is, one is group A and group B with two types of average propensities of consuming and with respect to different income groups. So since here we have more than one group of group of people, so that is why once we get the saving function of each group together, then adding them we are going to get the aggregate saving function. Okay, so that is why the aggregate word is there. Otherwise they would have just simply asked for the saving function of any particular group. Okay, so this is how you need to take an approach towards an numerical from the macroeconomics. Okay, so let's proceed to the solution. Now, let us mark the given incomes of the two groups as Y1 and Y2. So, answer Y1 is 800 and Y2, let's say Y minus 800. Okay? And we have the average propensity to consume. Let's say this is B1 as 0.6 and B2 0.5. Now, we need to find the consumption function. Now, what is the value of APC? APC is what? Total consumption divided by income. So that is the APC. This is how we have obtained the APC. So if we can just reuse this formula in order to get the consumption function of the two groups, that will help us. So the consumption function of group 1, that is C1, I am writing it as C1. So what is it? It is equal to B1 into Y1, and similarly we want to find C2, that will be equal to B2 into Y2. So here C1, I am writing just the value of a numerical value, substituting it, is here we have 0.6 and 800, so this gives us 480, and similarly if we just substitute the value from this to is 0.5 y minus 800, right? So here we have 0.5 into y and minus of 400. This is the value of C2. Okay, so these are the individual consumption function that we have obtained, but we need to obtain the aggregate consumption function. Although one thing I am going to point out, that this is one of the way to solve the following question. There can be another few ways as well. Okay, so now we have the individual consumption function. Let's add them together in order to get the aggregate consumption function. So I am erasing this part, and okay. Aggregate consumption function, let me write capital C equal to C1 plus of C2. So the value of C1 is 480 and C2 value is 0.5 y minus of 400, right? So these are the two values, C1 and C2. So this is equal to the capital C. Now at the equilibrium, what do we know? That the national income, that is Y, is equal to consumption plus of investment. If we assume an economy which is a closed economy without government, then we have equilibrium in this economy where the national output of the Y is equal to the consumption and investment, the summation of the two. What I am saying is equilibrium will take place where Y is equal to C plus I, right? We have the value of the two things. We just obtained this C and investment function. They have provided us in the question. So I'm just going to substitute them in this particular equation. Let's mark it equation number 1. Okay. So let's write it. Here Y equal to C. So this is 480 minus 400, 0.5y plus I is this one, plus 400, 0.1y. Any of you thinking that why we are doing this, why we need to find the value of y in order to obtain the aggregate saving function? Well, keep watching. I'm sure you're going to get your answer in this procedure only. Okay, so this 400 is getting cancelled out and we have this 480 and plus of 0.6y, right? So if I simplify it, I have, so after solving the value of y from this equation, we get it as y star equal to 1200. Okay, now the question doesn't end here. The question wants the aggregate saving function. So in order to find the aggregate saving function, we need to substitute the value of this y star that we have just obtained into our aggregate consumption equation. What is it? The aggregate consumption equation was the summation of C1 and C2. And what was C1 and C2? It was B1Y1 plus of B2Y2. Now, in order to get the aggregate saving function, let me denote it as capital S. Capital S. This will be equal to 1 minus of B1 into Y1 plus 1 minus of B2 into C2. Why this is so? Because saving is equal to income minus consumption. So all we have to do is to find the value of this equation, that is the equation with S. Once we have this, we are done with the required solution. So I'm erasing this and here. So the value of B1 is 0.6 and 1 minus of that is 0.4. What was Y1? Y1 is 800. Let's substitute as it is, that is 800 and plus. Again, this is 0.5, so this remains 0.5. And what is Y2? Y2 says Y star minus 800. Here we need to substitute the value of this Y star that we obtained. And after substituting, the equation somewhat looks like this. 0.4, 800, 0.5, 1200 minus 800 and once we solve this, we have 320 plus of, okay, so here it will be 400. So 320 and 200, so this is 520. So here we have the value of aggregate saving function as 520. So here in this session we have discussed two types of questions, two very different types of questions, and with fulfilled amount of the concepts and the important theoretical perspective that you require in order to solve the macroeconomic numericals. Now for the one more tip is that once you face any type of question, if that particular question is very much unknown to you or somewhat like you have not done this type of question before, don't hesitate. Give it a read, keep yourself calm, and there will be a solution that you will definitely come up with. So don't lose hope even in the exam hall if you are unaware of a particular question. I hope this tip will be helpful to you, and also expecting that this session was pretty much informative and helpful to all of you. And if you have any kind of further queries or doubts related to this particular session of numericals or any previous sessions that we had before, or if you have any inquiry regarding the economics pedia, don't hesitate to let us know below in the comment section. And also you can mail us at our official mail ID, that is ecopedia02@gmail.com. And thank you for watching this.